This episode of Between Two Burns is brought to you by the Pipe and Pint. Indulge in the finer things in life with our premium selection of cigars, wine, and pipe tobacco. Visit us at any of our brick-and-mortar locations or shop online at thepipeandpint.net. Mix and match 20 cigars for 10% off and enjoy free shipping on all orders over $150. From Rocky Patel to Drew Estate, we carry all your favorite brands. Must be 21 or older to purchase. The Pipe and Pint, elevating your relaxation experience. Now, enjoy the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sunday, April 13th, 5:30 Central Time, 6:30 on the East Coast. We are officially wrapping up PCA 2025. Day two's in the books. It's also our final day. They do go one more day here tomorrow. I think it's going to be kind of a light day, but yeah, we had a good time. We're doing two things at once here, so if you see us kind of looking over, I told you earlier I had the Masters t-shirt on. We've got 2 holes to go, maybe 1 hole to go here.
One hole to go.
With Rory trying to avoid an epic collapse on the day when he had this thing appeared to be in hand. So, we're going to be doing a little sports commentary along with cigars. So, a lot like yesterday, man. Day 2 was good. Day 2 was a little different for us from day 1, where we were a little bit more focused on a lot of our core brands inside the humidor yesterday and got a lot of that ordering done, what we expected to see from them. And then today was a lot of seeing new stuff, checking out what's going on.
Exploratory, if you will.
Yeah.
A lot of good stuff.
And before we get too deep, if anybody loves the look we got going on, we found ourselves a little spot here. We've got the Drew Estate studio going on behind us. This is
not sponsored
as professional as Between Two Burns has looked to this point, is with this backdrop going on. So
that's right.
It's not gonna lie, it's really a good look for it. It looks really good.
Looks good.
It looks really good. Well, right off the top, what was highlight number 1, day 2 for you?
Highlight number 1, day 2, was the fact that we got to smoke My Father Blue.
So I
feel like it's all we've been talking about, and so everybody's probably tired of hearing about it, but I feel like it was one of the most talked about things at the show this year.
Yeah.
So it feels necessary to bring it up again, and we were able to smoke it today, and it did not disappoint.
It didn't disappoint. So we got here early so we could score our samples because they were out by the time we actually had our meeting yesterday. And we've talked about it. You've heard us talk about it a million times. It was probably what we were most interested in smoking for a multitude of reasons. A new venture, new country for them. And, yeah, it didn't disappoint. I told you before, I think you're kind of in the same boat. Not a huge fan of Honduran cigars, generally speaking. That's not to say they don't make awesome cigars. You're going to get the same kind of thing in the Dominican or Nicaragua. Some are going to be good. Some are not going to be great. But this was an extremely clean cigar to me.
So one thing when I first smoked it this morning, I told you it reminded me of Plasencia 151, I think. Right? Well, our last meeting of the day was with Plasencia, and I just so happened to get a 151, and I'm smoking it right now, and I actually take that back. I think they're 2 different things. Plasencia 151 is a little bit more Honduran, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's got some more perfumey notes to it.
Okay.
The My Father Blue did not have that. It was very chocolatey, toasty, medium in strength. But I think it's going to sell really, really well. And if you're not a fan of Honduran cigars, you're going to like it. But if you do like Honduran cigars, you're going to like it. So it was just really good.
Yeah. Yeah, I told you this earlier. It's a little bit of a – oh, I'm bumping the camera. My bad.
Sad note, Oberg just, I think, doubled or tripled, by the way. He's at 6 under.
Oh, boy.
That's tough.
So
Sorry,
they're falling apart around us, but Rory's got a shot lead. They're going the last. It's a bit of a mind cramp when you think about it, because if you're, depending on how familiar you are with My Father cigars, you know what their vibe is under normal circumstances. So you see their band and their this packaging and the banding it's going to look familiar, but the cigar itself is not going to be, and it's not supposed to be, right?
Yep.
It's this completely different set of circumstances. So I think you can, when you look at it, you kind of have maybe a little bit of a preconceived notion as to what it is going to be when you expect it from that flavor profile.
Yeah, absolutely. Some other highlights of the day, though. The New World 10th anniversary packaging. It's awesome. I thought it looked really, really good. We also got to see RomaCraft today.
We saw the guys at Roma.
And
shout out Mike Rosales.
Yeah.
Shout out Skip.
That's right. And this is going to sound silly a little bit, but, we found out that they announced it already, but we got to see them today. They're coming out with Toro sizes in Intemperance CC, Whiskey Rebellion, and Volstead, and a traditional Toro. And their cigars are fantastic, but the one qualm that I have with them and the one thing that customers say to us about them is, hey, don't they have a traditional Toro or traditional Robusto? Well, guess what? Now they do. Good price points on them, and I think they're going to help sell the brand better and even get some people that may not have tried it before because they didn't like the sizes to finally give it a go.
Yeah, and I think if you're listening or watching and, depending on what your level of involvement in smoking cigars is, adding a Toro may not sound like that big of a deal to you, but somebody can give me numbers to back it up. Over the years, Robusto and Toro have been the two most popular sizes across the world in cigars. I would venture to guess that's still the case. And they didn't make traditional Toro, generally speaking. I don't know if they even ever had, really. Certainly not in core they weren't.
They do it in the Cro-Magnon. I'm sure they have in other stuff, but, Cro-Magnon's not regular production. So I think you're right. I don't think they've ever really done it. So I'm excited to see how that sells and to see what customers think about it. So what about you? Favorite thing you saw today or had?
Honduran is gonna be up there for the blue for me as well. We have some things that are in the bag that we haven't had a chance to smoke yet that I think we're gonna be excited to do. There's some stuff in your bag from the folks at Foundation Cigars.
Yes.
That I think you're eager to try.
I am.
And then we still haven't smoked the Perdomo Legacy yet. I know that wasn't today. It was yesterday. We talked about it, but we're really excited to try that. You know what? We don't carry them. Maybe yet. Maybe ever. I don't know. But the cigars from Domain was good.
Yeah.
I still
Domain.
don't know a lot about them, but a lot of people were talking about them. Not quite bit off the map the way the Japanese or Asian-inspired cigar from yesterday was, but they are a brand with some level of recognition. So that was really good. That surprised me. Really unique.
And from what we've been told about it,
size to it.
Yeah, from what we've been told about it, the master blender for them used to be the master blender at RomaCraft or something of the sort.
Yeah.
I'm still not 100% clear on it.
Super clear. She kind of nodded and said yes.
Yeah.
And it wasn't clear if she was placating you or what that was.
But the cigar was really good. It was a solid day. I feel like it was a little bit more relaxed than yesterday, even though we had some more 30-minute meetings. But that's probably because we knew where everything was.
Yeah,
honestly.
I think we had a lay of the floor a little bit better. I do think we talked about this earlier. I think the average retailer, especially if they're new, when they come in on Saturday, it's kind of a mad rush because it's the first time in. I think people are trying to really get to certain manufacturers where it requires maybe some early ordering to secure certain cigars. I mean, that's the reason we had Tatuaje early on our list to make sure we could secure their PCA exclusive for this year.
Yep.
So I think there's a bit of that. So there's a bit of a mad rush to a lot of those guys that are at the center of the convention floor. And then today, I think people kind of settle into their meetings. I saw a lot of people doing what we're doing right now. So a lot of people who do content was participating in that today. I saw a lot of people breaking out the microphones, breaking out the cameras, talking to manufacturers and everything like that. So it was not less busy, but it was more settled in, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And I will say this, too. One thing, is my first PCA, you smoke a lot of cigars. You get to try a lot of stuff. We're leaving with a lot of cigars. But I don't feel like I've gotten to actually smoke a lot of cigars, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right? I paid attention to as many as I could. I know the Tatuaje 7th yesterday was really good. I know the My Father Blue today was really good. I know that Chinese cigar that I smoked was really good. But they do start to run together a little bit, and you don't get to enjoy them, which is why we saved the Legacy and some other things.
We started thinking that's why we smoked the blue first thing this morning.
Yeah. Now
like we hadn't had any sort of
anything
first
else
cigar
on
of the
day.
First cigar of the day. We knew we had time to smoke that entire cigar, and we talked about this before. Like you're gonna get a new cigar at the booth you're going to. You're gonna go to your next meeting 35 minutes after, and rightfully so, that company's gonna want to have you smoking what they're talking about, right? Like, so they're going to want to put that in your hand. Yeah, of course. Yeah, like we want you smoking it and everything like that.
Now, I will say for me, biggest surprise of the day, Esteban Carrera.
So
Esteban's new cigar.
Yeah, let's talk that now. I had that on my list. This is interesting development.
I don't even remember the name of it.
Los Caños.
Caños?
Los Caños, yeah. The sweet, I think, is what it's referred to as.
Sweet cap. And not even sweet cap, sweet all the way through. Habano Maduro wrapper, Nicaraguan binder and filler. And Craig told us today, among other things, that
shout out Craig Cunningham, living the life that a lot of people would like to live. I'm telling you that right now.
Yeah.
You can do the research on your own. It may not be suitable for ears, even on this podcast, but living the dream.
They sweeten all the tobacco on it, but the cigar is still super premium. It smoked really good. It was actually a really nice change of pace today too. Like having smoked so much heavy stuff to have
absolutely.
that, it was almost like a palate cleanser. And I can't wait to see how it does compared to Deadwoods. I'm not saying it's going to outsell Deadwoods, but if you like Deadwoods, it's very comparable and, in my opinion, better.
And I think a distinction is it's a sweet cigar versus a flavored cigar. For that distinction of those, you know what it is. But it didn't fall off.
No, it was sweet from the time we lit it up.
Yeah, sweet from the time we
lit
lit it up. So that's a huge plus. Like, we've seen plenty of those cigars where that drops off.
Yeah, and
rather quickly.
I want to say this because, like, I feel like the people that are probably listening to this are like, "Oh, sweet cigars. We don't smoke sweet cigars. Super geeky." What you've got to understand is, from a retailer's perspective, we sell a ton of sweet cigars. Deadwoods is one of our top SKUs. So when we see something like this is when we have to take off our personal, cigar smoker, cigar geek hat and put on the retailer hat and think, like, how will this sell? And I'm really excited about it because I think it's actually going to sell really well.
Yeah, the price point was good on it. We talked about this on a podcast before about what their whole situation was last year when we were all under the impression they did not have a new cigar, and their representation thought they did not have a new cigar, and then we showed up and there was a single box of their new cigar kind of sitting in a table, in a fold-out card table. So I think there was a bit more advance notice. I don't know how much more advance notice, but I think it's, and Craig mentioned this when we had a chance to sit down with him, he'll tell you, like we'll tell you, it's not what you and I smoke and where he smokes, but it's a recognition of what the market smokes. And, if you want to make money, you got to sell cigars to what people want.
That's exactly right. A lot of good stuff today. There was some stuff that we unfortunately weren't able to get samples of, like the new Plasencia. Still excited to smoke that. Just for those out there, it's basically a step above Alma de Campo from what we were told. It is going to be expensive, though. $26 to $32 MSRP is what we were told, but that is a fluid situation with tariffs and everything. I don't know if that pricing includes tariffs. I actually didn't ask because there will be a price increase coming next week for Plasencia that includes the tariff. So I don't know. And I will say that's one thing, I guess, if I had a negative today, I know you haven't asked me, but just in case you were going to, I felt like there was a lot of uncertainty this trade show with that, but that's because this is so new and fresh and evolving every single day, and it's changed since we've been here.
It's changed since we've been here, yeah.
And literally nobody knows, but I will say this, some companies are already raising prices because of tariffs, even though they're on pause right now.
Yep.
Some companies aren't. Some companies are saying they're going to add tariff, a tariff line item essentially to invoices, and once tariffs goes away, that pricing will come off. Some companies are just raising prices outright. So if you're listening to this, it's a fluid situation. We don't know, because nobody really knows, and it seems like every company is approaching it differently.
Yeah. We're rocking. Careful bumping the table.
Oh, sorry, I'm leaning. That's my fault. I'm
There's
leaning.
not an earthquake in New Orleans.
We're not on a
Louisiana.
boat. Although there is a cool booth that looks like a
there's
boat here.
the Mayflower cigar guys are behind us. They have a pirate ship, what appears.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised to see the price point on that cigar a little bit. Listen, Plasencia is not inexpensive to begin with, but having it be above that price point that we see in the others surprised me a little bit.
It's more expensive than Fuerte and Fuego. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. Packaging looks beautiful.
It looks
don't
great.
Get me wrong.
Yeah, it looks great.
And I'm sure it's really good. But $30 for a very medium-bodied cigar, from what we were told. Again, we did not get to smoke it.
Yeah.
That's a tough ask, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. So I don't want to call that a low light, but I was just a little bit surprised by it.
Yeah.
AJ stuff. We haven't got a chance to smoke it yet. It was one of our later things, but
the New World, it looks awesome. It will be available, hopefully, for our AJ Cigar Club event in June.
Yep. So if you're
Winston-Salem.
coming to that Pipe and Pint Cigar Club in June, we were told it should be ready by then. You never can officially tell, but you've got that. You've got the I'm blanking on the name of the new
Enclave by Latios Diaz.
Yeah. Yep.
Dominican cigar. Hadn't got to smoke it. From what we were told, it's a much more mild to medium cigar, though. So we're excited about that. If you like Arturo Fuente or Monte Cristo,
I think that's gonna.
Yeah,
and that's what our Don, shout out Don AJ Fernandez, was kind of telling us that.
Yeah.
That Monte White crowd, I think, is probably that kind of vibe for a much lower price point.
Yeah,
is what that's going to be.
And one more thing I want to bring up is I want to be very, very cautiously optimistic here.
Oh yeah,
we talked to LFD.
Yeah.
They're saying they're getting stuff fixed. They're saying things are going to be in stock. We'll believe it when it happens. It's really hard to have that trust back.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's going to take some time for them to earn that trust back to both us and to customers and consumers, because it's been so bad for so long. But
I will say I am smoking the new Suave, which they had samples of to give out, which
that's positive.
That's a positive, which suggests they do exist. I mean, I think if you're listening to this and you're into cigars, you're very familiar what over the last couple of years what's been going on as far as availability is concerned.
Yeah.
And, you can fill it up with all sorts of conjecture as to what that reason is, but the reality was we just weren't able to get. They've changed some of their structuring up, which caught us maybe a bit by surprise. Really doesn't necessarily affect us personally that much. Probably affects others, but may affect us in a positive way if it's implemented in the way that they say it's going to.
That's why I said cautiously optimistic, because unfortunately, and we've talked about this on here before, we've lost trust in them, and they're going to have to prove to us and to everybody, for that matter, that things are getting better, and that will be shown through availability. We'll see if what we ordered today ships or not. I mean, we just don't know, but a lot of people ask, like, what's going on with LFD, so I wanted to give that update of, like, we got an answer. This is what we were told. Don't shoot us if we were lied to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're right.
Yeah.
And kind of on that note is another good meeting where we had first thing this morning in regards to, we know we have great support behind the Foundation brand. Again, no secret that they were affected with the AJ Fernandez firing.
Did McElroy just miss this putt? Are we behind? Sorry, there was a big from the crowd. And
let's hold on.
Hold on a second.
We're gonna watch this. Is this for par or for birdie?
This is, I think, for par. Oh, my God, he missed it.
I don't know if that's for par or not.
If it was for par, then we're going to a playoff.
We're going to get a live reaction here. Let's see what it is. Hold for dramatic effect.
Yeah, that's exactly right. This is terrible content.
If you're watching this live, you're probably already ahead of us. You probably already know what happened.
Yeah, this is terrible content, but we're here for it. Made that. Oh, my God, we're going to a playoff.
Unbelievable.
Holy crap. Rory, choke artist, man.
Good night.
All right, well,
Well,
that's cool. We're
got
gonna
more
have
golf
to
to
watch
watch.
that in the Uber. But yeah, Foundation, as you were saying.
Yeah, so we got good information from the guys there. Obviously, they are. No, we consider those guys friends. Like, we're close with those guys. We have a
Now,
great
we've
business
stopped
relationship.
by every day to say, hey,
Yeah,
just
we say
to
what's
be
up
like,
all the
what's up,
time.
because we love
we're
them.
in there, but they were kind of filling us in, getting us up to speed. What we're talking about, but realistically, months and months down the road before we get to any sort of real flow of cigars.
Yeah.
Depending on what it is, obviously.
Yeah. Every line's different. Obviously, the one line that's not affected is Wise Man. Now, I'll be interested to see if we see backorder situations on Wise Man because they weren't forecasting enough, and so people that like Tabernacle and Olmec and Axum and Charter Oak, I'll be interested to see if they smoke Wise Man instead because that's what's available. But it does sound like it's going to be a 6-month fix probably from what we were told, but there will be a drip of product. We're going to do our best to keep stuff on the shelf, but it was encouraging to see them encouraged because I was a little worried that they were going to be real down when we saw them,
Yeah, I thought that, there was positivity there and there, a level of, hey, this is the hurdle that's been put in front of us and we're going to find our best way to get over it and, keep our partnerships alive and here's what to expect. Here's how to order going forward, work with us in that way. And that way we can pass along that information to our consumers. If a Foundation cigar is something that you are constantly smoking, constantly looking for, we can give you some accurate, as accurate as possible information as to how it's going to be handled.
Yeah, and I will say this too, it does sound like the new stuff is still coming this year, albeit late this year, but it's looking like Foundation 10th anniversary, the Wise Man Lanceros, which aren't affected by the fire, obviously, but maybe Senator and Knights Commander may still see those this year. So that was positive to see. Also, real quick shout out, just because we were talking about golf, shout out to Oliva and Crux.
Yes, big time. Listen, it's Masters weekend. A lot of people here love golf, cigars and golf. We had podcasts about it go hand in hand, both with massive TV screens. We heard the audible gasp from Rory missing that putt before we saw it here on our little phone setup that we got going on. So I don't know. Listen, I don't know if they sold any more cigars, but they had the most people hanging around their booth in the last 2 hours because what they did for it, And then I think we saw some other people catch on who already had TVs in their booths, but they're like, well, I guess we can let's log in the Masters here. Let these people hang out and watch it. Yeah.
All right, last question before we got to wrap up and they kick us out of here. 2 days at the show, what are you most excited about?
I think it's actually Perdomo Legacy.
Yeah.
That's from just my personal standpoint. I think the Honduran's really good. That's awesome. But given the support that our customer base has for Perdomo, I think that's going to be the biggest impact for on like my side. Now, I do think we'll probably sell the most of the Dominicana.
Yeah.
The Deadwood Dominicana. And nothing real disappointing. I think a bit of the the cloud of the AJ fire and the tariff situation kind of lifted a little bit and people kind of didn't move on, but were able to participate in the show without it being a weird set of circumstances.
Yeah, even the AJ booth was positive about the fire. Like the
I mean,
conversation
AJ's not here for obvious reasons. I mean, he's got stuff to be handling there. But yeah, that was the thing. I mean, we saw a lot of cool stuff. We talked about the cigars yesterday. There's new stuff from Illusion. That's potential. I'm blanking on some of the things. I'm trying to remember, catch up where we saw today. Since Wit's so fast and packed in.
Illusione's got one-off Black and Tan Toro. They got the Group of 5, 6x56. Producer Greg just showed up. Hello, Producer Greg. We got the Epernay Maduro. So a lot of stuff. I will say
we saw stuff from West Tampa look good. I mean,
I think that's a conversation that I'll be having with some people when we get back to the shop. Are you interested in West Tampa? If you're listening to this, leave us a comment or text me or email or send us a DM on Instagram and let us know because I've had people ask about it. They're good cigars, maybe. And that's the nice thing about the show, right? Like, we see the reps come in and we get a glimpse of things, but until you're at the show and you can actually give it the attention that it deserves, I guess is the way to put it.
Yeah.
It's hard to really know, like, what to expect, what's going on, what's the deal with this, right?
You know what the other interesting one was
What's
that
up?
I'm kind of mildly intrigued in? The Zeno Cigarillo.
Yeah.
I think was something we didn't know was here. And obviously the cigarillo market's different than your more traditional shaped cigar, but we do have customers for that. And that people have really enjoyed Zeno in the humidor to begin with. So I think, coming from that Davidoff lineage, I guess, if you want to call it, or arm, I think that has a lot of potential.
I will say this, since you asked.
Yeah.
My favorite thing from the show was something that I hadn't talked to you about.
Oh, wow.
I was actually a little bummed out that Tatawahe looked like they were going to have a light show, right? Because he hadn't really announced much other than the 7th and the Fausto. But we get here, and it seems like this is the year of Corojo for Tatawahe. All the limited editions coming this year, the PCA cigar, the 7th. It's all got that shade-grown Corojo wrapper on it. Producer Greg. And
the producer's burnout. It's his first PCA. He's here taking pictures.
Yeah.
You think he may die. I'm not sure if he's going to make it.
Yeah.
Let's T's and P's for producer Greg, everybody.
That's exactly right. But I'm really, really excited because that wrap relief is awesome, and the 7th Corojo was probably the cigar that caught me off guard the most.
That was super good.
It was awesome.
Super
and so
good.
It's funny because, like, I was bummed because this is my first PCA, and Tat's my favorite brand, and it didn't disappoint. So I'm really excited about that.
It felt like that delivered on that for you. Any closing remarks? What do you think? So overall, give me a Dave Portnoy one bite. Everybody knows the rules. Rating 1 to 10 on your PCA experience.
I'm gonna give it a 9.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable.
9 because it was everything I thought it would be. The only reason it's not a 10 is because there wasn't as much new and cool stuff as I was hoping for. But at the same time, that may be a little off kilter just because we did have meetings all day, every day, and so we didn't have time to stop in the new booths.
Well, there's that too, and it's actually a different for me. I would still put it at a 9 just because there's a bit of a cloud with some things going on that unfortunately affect the business. But this is probably my 6th or 7th one coming to just PCA, and then you throw the TPEs on it. But we talked about it on a podcast where we thought a renewed and rejuvenated focus on core was a good idea. And I think we saw a lot of that. We saw a lot of things that were core lines, not super limited edition. There was far more of that this year than last year. Because last year was,
of all
core
companies.
Lines,
restructuring, focus on core. So I 100% agree with you. Yeah. And it's good to see because, let's be honest, that's the stuff that sells.
Yeah, and if you shopping with us all last year and you saw the social stuff and everything, it was a lot of drops of limited edition stuff last year. And this year you're going to see a lot of stuff that comes in that's going to stay on the shelves at a reasonable rate, we hope. You know what I mean? Like, again, nobody here that represents any of these companies is here to give any bad news if they can avoid it. And they they're going to massage it in a way. That
you're right, but I don't. I feel like it was genuine for the most part. I don't feel like.
Yeah, I do.
Like with the fires and the tariffs of everything, like everybody was honest. Like, yeah, we don't know what's going to happen, but here's what we're doing about it for the most part. And sans a couple companies, a lot of companies were like, we're just going to wait and see what happens. And I was glad to hear that because, the prices are going up on some of them, unfortunately. But a lot of companies are doing everything that they can to make sure that their cigar pricing does not go up. And that I appreciate that.
Yeah. So, overall, I think it was a great show. Like I told you, and we talked to a lot of people, I really thought the vibe was good in the building. So, overall, success. I think we found a lot of great stuff for us, a lot of things to think about. We did stop into some stuff we don't carry and, are toying with those types of ideas. We've got decisions to make when we get back, smoking through things with the rest of the staff. talking about what customer interest might be driven and stuff like that. So yeah, I think it's a great show. Like I said, I'd give it a 9 as well. And overall, I think we had a good time. We got a good dinner tonight with some of our friends at Aganorsa, so that's going to be a lot of fun. Overall, my first time in New Orleans, I've had a good time.
New Orleans is awesome. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. All right.
Cool.
Well, thanks for everybody for hanging out with us,
Yeah.
following us on social and everything like that. We're headed back to Greensboro tomorrow, so expect to see a lot of this stuff in the stores over the next, I would say, weeks in some cases, months in a lot of cases, and a lot of things, not coming until potentially next year.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a lot of fun, so you'll see all that stuff on social media, and we appreciate it. We out.
Yeah, we out. Let's see if
Let's watch this
Rory,
playoff.
Yeah, let's see if
Sorry,
Rory
folks.
chokes or not.
See ya.